Did you know the key to vibrant health and sustainable living is closer than you think? Welcome to the Nassau Health Food Store Organic Living Podcast, your weekly guide to Amelia Island's best-kept organic living secret. Brought to you by Nassau Health Food Store by Steve Adams. This podcast is here to help you discover farm-fresh produce, holistic wellness tips, and practical ways to live a healthier, more natural life. All right, here on beautiful Amelia Island, whether you're a longtime local or new to the island, we are here to inspire you to embrace organic living. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Amelia Island's Organic Living Secrets. And if you're ready to experience the organic difference, visit us at Nassau Health Food Store in Amelia Island. Your body and the planet will thank you.
Hi there, thank you so much for having me on the show again. My name is Dr. Daniel Kessler. And today I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about mold as well as heavy metals. Last time we spoke a little bit about microplastics and PFAS, these forever chemicals, and I gave you some action steps what you can do. And today we're going to continue the conversation with mold and heavy metals. Now let's talk about mold. And this one is actually a little bit different from the others because mold is not a man-made chemical, it's actually a living organism. Mold is a type of fungus which is naturally present everywhere in our environment. Outdoors, it plays a very important role in breaking down organic matter. Indoors, though, it can become a problem, especially when it finds moisture. Mold can grow wherever there's dampness. This could be a leaky pipe, under your sink, a bathroom without adequate ventilation, a damp basement, or even condensation around your windows. After any kind of water event, such like a flood or a leak, or even high humidity over a long period, mold can start growing within 24 to 48 hours. It doesn't always grow where you can see it. It can be behind walls, under flooring, or even within your HVAC system. Now, for most healthy adults, brief exposure to typical household mold is not going to cause serious harm. But for people with allergies or asthma or weakened immune systems, mold can actually be a real trigger. I personally have seen this in the multitude of my patients over the years. Common symptoms can include nasal congestion, sneezing, coughing, eye irritation, and skin rashes. Very common symptoms that can also mimic when people have allergies, for example. Now, some people can experience headaches, fatigue, or worsening asthma symptoms. There are certain types of mold, like Stachybotrys, which is sometimes called black mold, and these molds can produce toxins that are called mycotoxins, which deserve extra attention, particularly with prolonged exposure. Now, the key message here is that mold is manageable. It's not always easy, but there's definitely some things we can do about it. So we do not just want to ignore it, but we also don't want to lose sleep over. The most important thing is to control moisture in your home, to be aware whether it could be present, and if so, we want to reduce our exposure. Now, the specific action steps for mold. Action step number 1, control the moisture and ventilation in your home. This is the number 1 defense against mold. You want to keep indoor humidity below 50%. A simple hygrometer from any hardware store can actually help you monitor this, and they are very cheap and usually cost less than $10. You can also use exhaust fans in your bathroom and kitchen. You always need to make sure to fix any potential leaks promptly, no matter how small they are. Should you have a basement or a crawl space, consider running a dehumidifier, especially in warmer months. Make sure that your dryer vents to the outside, not into a garage or the attic. These basic steps can make your home far less hospitable to mold. Action step number 2. If you suspect mold, get a professional assessment. These are people that are called building biologists. These are people that have studied, that hold a license, and come out to your home to do assessments for various environmental toxins, including mold. I have actually suggested that to many of my patients, and when they're houses and apartments or condominiums were examined appropriately and professionally, many times mold was identified that could then be remedied. Now, if you can see mold growing on surfaces, if you notice a persistent musty smell, or if perhaps family members are experiencing unexplained allergy-like symptoms that improve when they leave the house, it's time to call in the professional. A certified mold inspector or a building biologist can test your air quality and identify hidden mold. Now, if you're experiencing health symptoms that you think might be mold related, talk to your doctor. We can always run some tests, we can evaluate your symptoms, and we can help you figure out next steps. Definitely don't try to tackle large mold problems yourself. Disturbing mold without proper precautions can actually make the exposure worse. Finally, today in this podcast, we want to talk a little bit about heavy metals. Now, heavy metals is a very old problem, but it does have some modern solutions. Heavy metals is actually one of the oldest environmental health topics out there. Here, we are talking about substances like lead, mercury, arsenic, and cadmium, for example. Now, unlike the forever chemicals and microplastics, which are relatively recent concerns, heavy metal exposure has been studied for decades, and we have a very solid understanding of its health effects. Now, where do people encounter heavy metals today? Lead is actually still found in older homes, specifically in paint manufactured before the year 1978 and in older plumbing and solder. Mercury can also be present in certain types of fish, particularly large predatory fish like swordfish, shark, and king mackerel. Arsenic can be found naturally in well water in some regions and even in some rice products. Cadmium exposure, of course, is linked to cigarette smoke and certain industrial activities. Now, the health effects depend on the type of metal, the level of exposure, and the duration. Lead is particularly concerning for children because it can actually affect brain development even at low levels. Mercury is also known to impact the nervous system and is a neurotoxin. Arsenic and cadmium have their own specific health concerns. But here's the important thing to understand. For the vast majority of people going about their daily lives, heavy metal exposure at dangerous levels is not very common. What matters is to be aware of the potential sources and to take precautions, especially if you, for example, live in an older home, if you're pregnant, or if you have young children. But there are also sometimes patients that may be sick, and maybe patients have been to many doctors, have had no answers, and with a good environmental questionnaire or an assessment after traditional testing and blood work has been looked at, then sometimes environmental exposure could play a role, and this can always be investigated. So what are your action steps for heavy metals? Action step number 1 is to know your home and water. If your home was built before 1978, please be aware that lead paint may be present. As long as it's in good condition, it's not peeling or chipping, it's generally safe. But if you are planning renovations, you definitely want to hire a lead certified contractor. For your water, especially if you have older plumbing or a private well, consider getting it tested. Many local health departments offer free or low-cost water testing kits. You can run your tap water for 30 seconds to 2 minutes before using water for drinking or cooking. You can also use the filters, we talked about previously. But if you run the water for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, oftentimes this can help flush out water that may have been sitting in contact with older pipes. Action step number 2, you can also talk to your doctor about testing. Should you have concerns about heavy metal exposure, maybe you live in an older home, you work in an industry with potential exposure, or you just want a peace of mind, please talk to your physician. You want to speak to somebody who knows about heavy metals and what to do. Simple blood tests can check levels of lead and mercury, and there are even other tests where the body can be what is called provoked to release some of the heavy metals when we test for example. Your doctor can also assess your risk factors. Your doctor can recommend if testing makes sense for you and your children. Pediatricians routinely screen children for lead at ages 1 and 2, but if your child is older and you're concerned, or even if you're an adult who is concerned and you undergo an environmental questionnaire, and testing may still be needed and is actually available. So please be proactive with your healthcare provider. This is one of the most powerful things you can do. If your healthcare provider is one who does not take you serious, there are plenty of doctors who are willing to listen and to help you. So this concludes today's podcast on mold and heavy metals. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.
Before we wrap up, I want to talk to you about something important. Have you ever stood in the grocery aisle overwhelmed by choices, wondering which products are truly good for you and the planet? In today's world, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find food that's not only nutritious, but also ethically sourced and environmentally friendly. Many of us want to make healthier choices, but the sheer amount of conflicting information out there can be paralyzing. Every day you delay making the switch to organic, you're potentially exposing yourself and your loved ones to harmful pesticides and GMOs. Not to mention you're missing out on the superior taste and nutritional benefits of organic produce. The longer we collectively hesitate, the more damage is done to our health and our planet. That place is Nassau Health Food Store. We've done the hard work for you, curating the best organic and natural products so you don't have to second-guess your choices. From farm fresh produce to pantry staples, from supplements to natural beauty products, we've got everything you need to live your healthiest, most natural life. Visit us today and experience the peace of mind that comes with shopping at Nassau Health Food Store at Amelia Island. Your body, your taste buds, and the planet will thank you. We're located at 833 TJ Corson Road, Fernandina Beach, Florida 32034, United States. We're open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Can't make it to the store? Check out our online shop at www.nassauhealthfood.com. Thanks for tuning in to the Nassau Health Food Store podcast. Until next time, eat well, live naturally, and stay healthy.